In 2021, Elias Pettersson was the Canucks' franchise center. But in 2024, that all changed. He struggled for 2 months, and then an entire season. Fans started calling for a trade. Even after 2 straight point-per-game seasons, people gave up on him. But I haven't, and I don't think you should either. That's why I made this video. So that you... Elias Pettersson was on pace for 107 points in 2024, a career high that earned him an $11.6 million contract extension on March 2nd. But since then, he's put up 59 points in 84 games, and a lot of Canucks fans have written him off, some even calling for a trade. What didn't help? The locker room drama between Pettersson and JT Miller that was swirling around the team. Even after the Canucks eventually traded Miller to the Rangers, the noise didn't go away. And although his no-movement clauses kicked in and trade talks died down, there's still doubt that Pettersson will come back to form for the Canucks. So will he bounce back? And are the odds in his favor? In this video, I'll be going through Pettersson's rise as an elite center, his fall from grace, and his odds of bouncing back. But first, let's get to know Elias Pettersson. With the 5th overall pick in the 2017 NHL Draft, the Canucks selected Elias Pettersson. At the time of the draft, it seemed like a reach. The Canucks were looking to move down, but with the Rangers trading up to the 7th overall pick, the Canucks thought that they would steal him if they dropped. Pettersson would only be seen as a reach for 1 season, as he would break records. In his draft plus 1 year, he put up 24 goals and 38 assists for 56 points in 44 games in Sweden's top pro league, breaking all these records. Following that season, he was ready to make the big club and start his career in the NHL. All the hype would be warranted as Pettersson would put up 28 goals and 38 assists for 66 points in 71 games, good enough for the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year. Only a year after the Sedins retired, the Canucks have found their next great Swede. The next season, Pettersson would get 1 less goal with 27 and 1 more assist with 39, for the same total of points, 66, in only 68 games in a COVID-shortened season. The Canucks would qualify for the 2020 playoff bubble, where they would beat the Minnesota Wild in 4 games in the playoff round, with Pettersson putting up a goal and 3 assists. The Canucks would run into the defending Stanley Cup champions in the St. Louis Blues, and although the Blues were favorites, the Canucks would overcome them in 6 games to move on to the second round, with Pettersson putting up 3 goals and 5 assists for 8 points. They would face the Vegas Golden Knights, and we know the story. The Canucks would fall down 3-1, but with the help of Demko, they would crawl back but lose in 7 games, and their playoff run would end. Pettersson would add 3 more goals, 2 more assists, to bring his postseason totals to 7 goals, 11 assists for 18 points in 17 games. Following that season, Pettersson would miss 30 games in a short and unlucky season for the Canucks. In the games he did play, he put up 10 goals, 11 assists for 21 points in 26 games. Still good numbers, but a down season. But can you blame him? The following season would be the first questionable season in Pettersson's career, as he would put up 32 goals and 36 assists for 68 points in 80 games. It would draw questions on if Pettersson could take the next step or not. He would show us that he could though, as he would put up a monster 39 goals and 63 assists for 102 points in 80 games, and Pettersson would show the hockey world that he is a top center in the game. Pettersson would start the 23-24 season on a 107-point pace by February, and only a month later, he would earn an 8-year, $11.6 million contract extension. But even with Pettersson earning that extension, there would be skeptical fans saying that it was too much money, and the noise would only get louder in the coming months. Pettersson would have a bit of a down month in March with 9 points in 12 games, and it would get worse in April as he would only put up 5 points in 8 games, concluding his season with just under 90 points, with 34 goals, 55 assists for 89 points in 82 games. The Canucks would continue their season into the playoffs, where Pettersson would continue to struggle, as he would only get 3 assists in the 6-game series against the Predators, including 3 scoreless games. The Canucks would move on to the second round against the Oilers, and Pettersson would be a main focus, as they would need his scoring in order to win the series. His scoring would not come, as he would only get a goal and 2 assists in 7 games, including 4 scoreless games, and the Canucks would fall in Game 7, ending their season. In total, Pettersson would have 1 goal and 5 assists for 6 points in 13 games, and some Canucks fans will call him out for his struggles. Some fans said that he cashed out and doesn't care, and thought that they should trade him before his contract extension kicks in. Some fans pointed out that he could have been hurt, and that he was playing through it because he wanted to help his team no matter what, and it would seem possible as he played every game of the season, not missing one. There was also some talk about him not being playoff ready, but that would not make total sense as he played well in the bubble, but maybe fans being in the building changed that. Throughout the offseason, the Canucks would have a lot of question marks going into the next season, Pettersson being one. As the season would start, he would be in the lineup. He would continue to struggle in October with 4 points in 9 games, and a story would break into the mainstream Canucks media after some rumblings throughout the end of last season and the offseason. That story being a feud between JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. The noise would get louder as JT Miller would take a personal leave of absence, not because of the feud, but whilst Miller was gone, Pettersson would bounce back with 2 goals and 13 assists for 15 points in 10 games, with only 2 scoreless games in that span. But when Miller returned, Pettersson would go 17 games with only 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points, with 12 scoreless games after getting hurt for 6 games before that stretch. At the end of that stretch, JT Miller was traded to the New York Rangers, and fans on Miller's side made it known that they wanted Pettersson gone instead. The noise about Pettersson's struggles were going to be blown up no matter what, but with Miller gone, the eyes were on Pettersson on whether he would bounce back. Pettersson would struggle going into, during, and a little after the Four Nations break, with only 2 assists in 10 games, and in the Four Nations, he would put up 0 points in 3 games. But after this 10-game stretch in March, he would put up 4 goals and 6 assists for 10 points in 9 games, before he would miss the rest of the season. A smart move as the Canucks were on the outside looking in, and they wanted Pettersson to bounce back next season. And in order for him to do that, he needs to be healthy. Pettersson finished his streaky down season with 15 goals and 30 assists for 45 points in 64 games. And even then, the noise didn't calm down. But the fans shouldn't worry, because the odds are actually in Pettersson's favor. Now before I get into this part, I want to say that this is all my opinion. Pettersson was facing a lingering knee injury throughout the 2024 offseason that made it hard for him to train for the upcoming season. Pettersson would go on to struggle, and because of that, he took it as a lesson. He used the extra month to work on recovering and training so that he can push to be better. He now has a longer offseason to recover and train for the upcoming season. Over the last 16 months of his playing career, he has had small injury problems that have been exaggerated by his willingness to help the team. His drive to prove people doubting his game wrong definitely hurt him in the long run. He showed flashes of success, but had stretches of games without points. He has dealt with injuries with only one major one, where he missed more than 15 games, and ended up having 2 over point per game seasons after that, and has recovered from it. He's only 26 at the time of this video, so he has more years of his career than players who have had down years. Not only do most point per game seasons not have down years as dramatic as Pettersson, the ones who have had them later in their career and were either facing natural regression or injuries. Skill doesn't just go away. There are many factors that have to contribute to a player not succeeding at a top level. Most players who turned into busts were either not ready to make it from the jump, not as good as they were scouted to be, or dealt with a ton of injuries that hurt their career. Pettersson has turned out better than when he was scouted, ranking first in total points in his draft class, so that takes away from him being a bust or poorly scouted. Now that gets me into the bigger reason that I think Pettersson would bounce back. JT Miller is gone. Now before I get into this part, I wasn't a big believer in the drama and believed it was overblown and mishandled, especially from Rutherford, who I think talks too much. But my opinion on the matter is that Pettersson was in his own head this season, and that caused him to overthink. Now he was able to still put up points. I think that the combination of Pettersson's mental struggles and JT Miller's tough teaching made things worse for him and caused him to struggle even more. Now if we combine all the factors of his struggles, and that most point per game players don't lose their stride at the point of their career Pettersson's in, we can make projections about his upcoming season. Injuries can play a factor if he gets them this season, but if he knows to listen to his body and not to push too hard until he can, and wants to get to the 100% level of training, he will. The fact that there will be no adding to his mental struggles with Miller gone could clear his head a little bit and cause him not to overthink. And there is the mindset of wanting to push and be good no matter what's in his way. If he was hurt, he could have taken some time off to recover, which would be a smart move, but he's willing to sacrifice his health to help the team, and that mentality can be helpful but also dangerous. But I think he might have learned from his mistakes of playing through injury, as it could negatively affect the team. With the combination of a clearer mental state, a full bill of health, and a mentality to prove the doubters wrong, Pettersson could not only bounce back, but be one of the most dangerous scorers in the league. Next season isn't just important for the Canucks, it's a defining moment for Pettersson. He's proven he's an elite player with multiple point per game seasons, but right when he was on pace for a career year, it all fell apart. Like he flew too close to the sun. For that level of play to disappear this early and this suddenly, it's rare. And I truly believe there's still room not just for a bounce back, but for improvement. With Miller gone and a full offseason to recover, Pettersson has the opportunity to reset, push forward, and remind everyone just how dangerous he can be. And if he does, the Canucks can become a serious threat. Whether you believed in Pettersson all along, or started to doubt him, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope going into this season, that you don't give up on Pettersson.